Thanks for joining us this lovely evening. I hope your day has been agreeable, and I hope you have an interesting evening tonight. We do have a double-packed weekend edition of the Ballot for UNTA's election season countdown series, and tonight, like I said, will be a double dose of inquest into candidates contesting for the governorship positions in their states. Benue and Oyo states are in focus tonight, and I'm looking forward to an insightful conversation with both of my guests. But just before we take off tonight, let's bring you some news, but first, the major highlights.
The fact that we came out to vote is actually an act of patriotism, and we are grateful for that.
Civil society intensifies activities towards curbing voter apathy come March 18.
It is indeed a difficult time for all lovers of democracy in Nigeria.
Inter-Party Advisory Council rallies support for INEC, urges stakeholders to exude patience. Once again, the streets of Twitter, Instagram, and other online platforms are buzzing with content on the governorship election and who is likely to hold sway. I will begin with the story on efforts by members of the civil society to engender increased and active participation of voters in next weekend's governorship and state houses of assembly elections. One group that is hoping it could create activities to shift the needle in terms of voter turnout on election day is the Speak Out Africa, a group that considers voter apathy inimical to participatory democracy.
The fact that we came out to vote is actually an act of patriotism, and we are grateful for that. And we are saying that come March 18th, we should all come out and vote. We should not be scared because Beavers actually worked.
In the meantime, the Inter-Party Advisory Council, a group with representation from all political parties in Nigeria, is lending its voice to the call for peace, patience and understanding from all stakeholders in Nigeria's political eco-space, including the citizenry, as INEC puts its act together towards ensuring the successful conduct of the governorship and state houses of assembly elections. This was part of resolutions reached at the Council's emergency general meeting in Abuja following INEC's announcement rescheduling the elections from March 11 to March 18.
Indeed, a difficult time for all lovers of democracy in Nigeria and calls for understanding and maximum support to INEC to discharge the crucial national duty that will define the destiny of the nation.
Well, now, with an extension in the days leading up to the governorship election and state assemblies comes an increased level of engagement by young Nigerians, especially on the social media. Online activities revolving around Nigerian politics and electioneering campaigns were prevalent during the February 25 presidential National Assembly elections, with the youth pushing out the bulk of the content on most of the popular social media platforms. And even though the fever seemed to have dipped ever so slightly in the wake of the last national elections, it is looking like the social media might experience a resurgence, with more content now focusing on politics, the governorship elections, and the new slated dates for the polls. It is intriguing, especially with young adults forming the bulk of registered voters for this year's general election. Well, now, my first guest definitely hopes he has the Nigerian youth in his corner. He's a man of the cloth, got a degree in sacred theology, Masters of Arts as well as a PhD in biomedical ethics. By the way, bioethics is both a field of study and professional practice. That's for those interested in ethical issues related to health, including those emerging from advances in biology, whether it's medicine and in technologies as well. So having said that, I'd like to welcome the governorship candidate of the All Progressives Congress in Benue State, Dr. Hyancith Alia, to the ballot. He joins me tonight here in our studio. Glad to have you join me here. Are you upbeat? Are you excited? Or are you feeling a bit shaky about the prospects of the elections next weekend?
Well, thank you so very much for having me. And Thank you out there, all viewers. I'm pleased and quite excited, for my elections coming up.
Okay. Excited is the word there, Father.
Yeah.
And I mean, I hope you do not mind. I will be addressing you from time to time as Father.
Sure, I'm good.
Okay, great, fantastic.
That's the first one, actually. So.
Okay, great. So let's begin. What essentially is the underlying philosophy of your strategic development blueprint for Benue State? And even though you feel assured on your prospects come March 18, do you feel that same level of confidence on the overall prospects of your development plans, which I understand is centered on 7 pillars, the foremost being to secure lives and properties? But in terms of feasibility, how would you rate your chances of succeeding on major fronts as contained in your strategic document plan of action?
Thank you much. You see, first of all, what made me to come into partisan politics, I was simply not only to come and make a difference, but to come and establish the fact that, Benue State is extremely endowed. But it's never been tapped. We have a number of youths who have never been who have never been assisted, just to move up. And then the engine life of any governance at all in a state is civil service. Benue State no longer has civil service. Relatively no civil service, because not many people are going to work. They are not paid. And for those who go to work, there's no motivation, there's no staff welfare. The state, since its creation, instead of moving forward, it's just retrogressing, it's moving backwards. So having looked at all this, and then a number of other things I'm going to mention down the road, I know that the world is going to be destroyed, not by evil people, but it shall be destroyed by the good people who sit by and watch the evil people do what they do.
And not do anything.
Exactly.
Yes.
So I was spurred on, to come on and to come in.
Okay.
To save the soul of my state, Benue State.
Okay, great. And we'll talk a lot about that down the road.
Yeah.
But if you would kindly do so, just take us through like a quick rundown of your 7-pillar agenda.
Yeah, exactly. That was where I was coming down to.
Okay.
So with all this motivation and the intent on coming to make things right, it's totally broken in Benue. So we have to make it right. And this is why I have this build-up on the 7 pillars.
Yes.
We are an agrarian society.
Agreed.
But for some reason, we even have the tag of the food basket of the nation. Unfortunately, the basket itself is now highly perforated, and then there's no food in the basket.
So it's leaking?
Yeah, completely. Meaning that the enablement we should be giving our farmers so that they will smile all through to the banks, it's not there.
So I agree with one.
Some people simply feel, that, farming it's just doing some work, to feed you, to feed your family, and that farming is an investment. You farm well, you should be able to take care of your business. It's a complete business life. And so we have farming, and then we have lots of insecurity in the state of late. So I intend to be quite heavy on that too. And then I'm going to dwell on education.
3.
3. Put in their health care system.
That's 4.
Healthcare is also broken down. Then the economy. See, everything we do here
5.
dwells into the hall of economics. And then the physical infrastructures.
6.
It's like we no longer have all that. And then our commerce. And
that is it.
So, yes, exactly. So where we are today as a state, it's not where we should be. And where we ought to be. We are in a terribly deplorable state. And this is why our security is totally broken down. And why is it broken down? The traditional institution that should have been considered as an assistant tool to governance, it's completely neglected. So when you let all this down, the youth are no longer doing anything at all. The few youth that, parties bring them on are just there to do the bad business.
Father, sorry for butting in, but I'd like to take you up on some of these issues because we're fast losing time. But I'd like for you to talk specifically more on your agricultural plan, because you intend, like you said in your plan, to reenact the 1983 food basket Benue. Give me first a simple answer and then perhaps a more expansive one for how you intend to transit or help the Benue farmer transit from subsistence agriculture to perhaps small and medium scale. But I know your target, and I'm hoping your target will be a large scale commercial farming. I'm also interested in your own plan to stop the culture of food wastages in Benue State, where nearly 80% of produce, not processed, of course, go to waste from lack of storage. What are your plans to remedy these situations? Because you seem to be going strong on agriculture.
Oh yeah, primarily that. If we go heavy on agriculture, during the time of the late Aperiku, who had every machinery in place for us, then we had institutions like the institutions he created, to bring that enabling environment for farmers.
Yes.
We had tractor hiring agencies. Okay. If only we go back to that system, life is going to be easier. We're going to expand.
That is basically subsidizing machineries for farmers in rural communities.
Yeah. The lot of the land we even have, it's not even harnessed. We have so much land. We are a riverine area. It's never been harnessed. We only do rainy season farming. How about dry season as well? We are River Benue. Why are we not tapping into all that? We are quite endowed that we have all the seedlings you think of that we can improve on and then make our people to be where they should be on this farming of a scale.
Father, sorry again for butting in. I need to moderate this so you can give the viewer and voters in Benue State an idea of what you intend to do in all of these 7 sectors, major sectors that you've mentioned. You talked about security somewhere earlier, and I'd like for you to perhaps reference, and of course I'm sure you're aware of the rampant, and I'm not afraid to use that word, clashes that we've had between farmers and herders in Benue State. There's also the issue of rampaging herdsmen. My director just whispered in my ear now that they've been referred to sometime in the past as criminal herdsmen. How do you intend to address or redress or resolve these security breaches?
We need to bring to the desk a new thinking on security. When you have someone who doesn't have the vision for security for the people, you don't expect them to protect the lives and the properties in the state. It also takes both the political will for you to be able to do this. If the federal government has been sending security vote to our states, what happens to the one that comes to Benue State? We need to bring to place and give full authority to our traditional institutions. Before this regime, before this administration, the current administration in my state, we have a relative peace, and why was that so? The past administrations had into strong consideration the role of the traditional institution.
Okay.
And then the youth were also given jobs. The youth were made quite important in their lives. Education was paramount. You know, there was a motivation for the youth to get engaged in schools. And like I intend to bring about, you mustn't necessarily go to, you know, to very formal classroom for you to get that education. How about skills acquisition? You know, if we do this and then we enable our youth to become self-employed, and then they can just extend and expand all that. So they require an enabling environment to be able to do this as well. For us to be able to quite be precise on our security and get it right, we need to retrace our own various steps. We are in the North Central Zone. How is the relationship of Benue State with other states? Do we have a brotherly relationship? Do we have a friendly working relationship? So do we have perforated borders? So if we do, what are you doing? What is your conversation with the other governors? So you first of all need to do that. There will be some sort of collaboration. Yeah, with that great collaboration we need to.
How will that factor in, still talking on security now, how you intend to handle the issue of state vigilantes, groups that perhaps are not, perhaps maybe licensed or not licensed, then also moderating their activities so that it does not somewhat translate into being criminal itself?
It's not just the vigilantes. You know, in the state with the talk of livestock guards, their definition is not even known, but then they are fully armed. Where did they get the license to be armed? And then particularly about the electioneering season, you are arming them for what? We do have bad infiltrated borders. Why can't you send them to the borders to stop all this? But once elections are coming up, you go and get them armed. It's not the best of it at all. You don't have the people at heart. If one has in the people at heart, before electioneering year, you protect them. Once the protection, it's not in there. And there's some other thing that it's coming up. When you have the livestock guards and that role it's not even defined, and then you hear that, you know, people are rustling cows in the neighboring communities, and then they are mentioning the livestock guards, one wonders why they were even hired. When you cannot pay your civil servants, what are the life guards meant to be? Who is paying them? Where are you getting the money to buy arms for them? And what are the arms supposed to be for? So if there were a proper prioritization of what should be in place and what security itself means, I mean, would have been a better lot for Benue State. And when you take the issues of security to be sort of a propaganda, then right there you get it wrong.
So, and I'm sure the voter in Benue will be hoping that if eventually you do emerge, if and when you get that mandate, that you would redress some of these security issues.
Definitely, so it's on my scheme, you know, to get all the IDPs back home. They truly need to get back home.
I hear you, Father, and I'm sure Nigerians watching, you know, as well, hear you and are wondering where you stand as a priest and as a politician. I ask this against the backdrop of Nigerians being accustomed to hearing politicians like yourself. Now, since you've temporarily left the pulpit, promising them heaven here on earth. Forgive me, Father, maybe I have sinned, but it isn't uncommon to hear the average Nigerian describe politicians, and I'm not referring to you, but politicians generically, as being untrustworthy and a wolf or wolves in sheep clothing, owing to the fact that many a times, after promising them that heaven on earth, the citizens often get a reality check after, of course, the politician has gotten into power. Are you not tainted by association and not worried that your good manners may likely get corrupted?
No, I don't think so. And I know that it won't be so. Right there is a fallacy of generalization. When you say all politicians.
Father, the rule of prejudice is not to perpetuate prejudice. I am not. I'm simply stating what is there, out there. And you and I know, Father.
You see, no, you're right. You see, when people say politics is a dirty game, I differ from that kind of a thinking. Politics ain't a dirty game. From democracy, then we get into the practicalities of politics itself, and once the procedure it's on point, then we can talk about whether the bad players are in there, whether the good players are in there. When you have bad players, to do politics for you, and then at the end of the day they don't produce anything. I mean, those who say it's a bad game may be right. But what it takes is, do you have a vision? Do you have people at heart? When someone says politics is about interest of what? Democracy simply means government of the people, by the people, for their people. So if you come into the scope of politics and it's all about not you but about the people, then you work for the interest of the people. So when someone says politics is about interest, that is a half-baked answer. It's about the interest of the people. And if it is so, then you must have the political will to execute what you promised them. And they appointed and elected you to be in there to do.
Father, you may have just gotten into partisan politics, but you seem to have, and I've been watching you, listening to you while we're here. I did a quick check on you as well, and you seem to have many memorable quotes already. There's one on transparency out there, transparency in governance, where you said, and I'll quote, you said, I think I wrote it down somewhere here, that's when you play by the principle of transparency, everything works out, or everything works, rather, end of quote. Put that within the context of the size of government in Benue State right now, and whether or not some offices, whether some operations or mandates are not just repetitive and merely replicas of what already exists. Increasing fundings and expenses and the cost of governance. How would transparency by an Alia administration translate to workable government in this instance?
It will be there when you put a number of things in check. As I'm speaking, no one in the state knows the wage bill of Benue State. How can that be? How can that be? So we out there don't even know. And the civil servants don't even know. So if we know, we close the loopholes in there. When you have people in place in the ministries to work, those who share that dream, those who understand why they should be in there, things work. But when you bring mediocres, a number of those political shenanigans are out there, and what they're all looking for is just to get you from point 10 down to point 0. But do you have the energy? Do you have that vision? Are you looking at what would take you from point here, point 1 to the highest point of it all? Political will.
Father, I'd like to move you on to our next segment, but of course I know that that the contestation for this seat of power in Benue is not a done deal yet. But there's an angle to the elections, which is likely to be a fierce contest between your party and the PDP for obvious reasons, of course. There's somewhat of an ethnic angle to it, and the fact that you and the candidate of the PDP both come from the same local government area. I think it's Vandeke also in
Vandika.
Vandika in Benue Northeast.
Local government.
What do you think will be the key determinants for whoever takes it home eventually? Will it be more tribal than the personal qualities of the candidate?
No, I'm not sure it deals with ethnicity
at all.
No. What the Benue people are looking out
is for democracy man
is
that
very
is best
simple. Yeah.
for the job.
Who is it that can deliver?
Okay.
Who is it that has the IQ to to think through and enable people to understand this?
And we'll get to know that March 18. Let me quickly take you further to ticking the boxes. Like I said, you will be presented with a couple of targets and made to choose from 3 options that reflect your view on their feasibility within a time frame of 4 years. So ticking the boxes is up next. A quick reminder here that the targets in the boxes would be public policy issues. Beg your pardon. Okay. They are to be gauged within a timeline of 4 years, which amounts to the first term in office of an elected governor in this instance. Let's begin. I'll just ask my director there. There we go. Father, if you just look towards the box, the first item on the box says 15% implementation of statewide infrastructural needs. Do you think this is a target you can achieve in 4 years? Do you think it's realistic? Do you think it's unrealistic? Are you undecided on this matter?
Oh, take a look on the board over there.
Yes, on the board.
Okay,
15% implementation of infrastructural needs. Is this something you can achieve in 4 years? Is it a realistic target? Realistic. We'll take realistic there for Father. And then second item on the box there says 100% food sufficiency. I mean, food basket of the nation.
In Benue.
If we were to go to 1983 Benue, do you think this is something you can achieve in 4 years? Is this something that is realistic, unrealistic, undecided on the matter?
100% sufficiency
in food production. In food. Yes, production, basically.
Yeah, food production, 100%, have about 75-80%. 75-80%.
So this is not a realistic goal?
For Benue, it's a realistic goal. It is a realistic goal.
It is a realistic goal.
It is. Once you put a number of things in place.
It is realistic. We'll go to item number 3 on the board. It says 50% IGR, that's internally generated revenue boost. You think you can boost the revenue of Benue State within 4 years by 50%?
It's on my schedule to do this. You see, there are lots of loopholes in here.
Okay.
It's never been accounted for, and it's never transparent.
So it is possible to achieve.
Very possible.
The last item on the board, we will go with fantastic. It's been ticked for you, Father.
And water scarcity.
Yes, is that realistic?
Chino Achebe says water everywhere, not a drop to drink. I mean, we're going to rejig all that.
So that's also feasible and realistic.
Yeah, it is.
Realistic, 4 for 4. I'd like to thank you so much, Father, governorship candidates of the All Progressives Congress in Benue State, Dr. Hyancith Alia, for joining us tonight on the ballot. I would like to wish you very good luck, best of luck, as a matter of fact, as you pursue this campaign. And we'll see how it goes on March 18, and we will be able to come back here and review the process. Thank you so much for coming.
I appreciate you so very much. Thank you for all you continue to do here. I wish we had a good enough time, for all of the programs to be put on the table. Hopefully when next I come here, I'm coming in a different capacity.
Yes.
And then we'll move from there.
But we're not done yet. There's still more to come. Up next is the tale of how one man intends to change the narrative in the old city of Ibadan, the evolving Oyo Ile and other parts of modern day Oyo State. It's called the Pace Setter State. Coming right up after the break. The Nigerian electoral system is seemingly simple, yet may be complicated for some.
It's for them to come and tell us what they have.
Running an election is equivalent to what? A job application.
I want them to identify the issues plaguing the common Nigerians.
PDP should focus on PDP and APC should focus on APC.
Let's show you what an election is all about as Nigerians pick the next president, governors and legislators. We interrogate their plans, question the rationale and review the prospects. Join us on the ballot.
To every politician, as the campaigns gain momentum and passions begin to rise, remember, the errors of your opponents do not make you a success. Do not run down your opponent and inflame passions to violence between and among your supporters. What counts is what you plan to do for the electorate and how you intend to relieve the sufferings and bring succor. Nigeria is in dire need of patriotic leaders at all levels. Leaders who will make national development their priority. Concentrate on telling the electorate what you intend to do when you get into office. Focus on making your vision clear to the electorate. Don't engage in verbal abuses, fake news or speeches. Keep dealing with issues that will bring progress. You win the hearts and minds of the people by being above board, by being civil, patriotic and showing empathy. Let's join hands to make the 2023 elections peaceful. A message from the National Orientation Agency.
Oh boy, this one where your eye red. You carry machete, you see carry gun. Wetin you want take am do sef?
As I dey para like this, I don't vex.
Oh boy, calm down down now.
Like this, like this, I dey go scatter those people businesses. You know, say they take scatter our people businesses, eh? You don't see them. See, and they go there, they go. As I dey go like, and they go show them better craze. They never see anything.
If you destroy their own for here, and they destroy your people own for that side, especially that your brother where they send you money, that way don't block. Oh, how you go take survive?
See, this way talk not true, but I see the vex.
Boy, calm down. Make we embrace peace. With peace and unity, everybody.
My people, make we gum body with peace and unity. Oh, make we learn to live as brothers and sisters, so that we country go fit move go permanent sides. This message now from the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
Moving along now, next I will be speaking to a man who has practiced journalism and politics for some decades now. He's currently the governorship candidate of the Labour Party in Oyo State, Tafiq Tayo Akinwale. Welcome to the Ballot, sir. How is it done today?
Hello?
Can you confirm that you can hear me, sir?
Yes.
Fantastic. I actually was welcoming you to the program, and I did tell my viewers that you have practiced journalism for some decades now, and a blend of journalism and politics. So let's just go straight into the politics of it and why we're here. You know, politically, Oyo State has had an interesting background, especially between when you think of what has transpired between 2015 and now. In 2015, President Buhari won the state. In 2019, Atiku narrowly won the state. Now in 2023, the APC has again won the state. At the state level, Governor Makinde won the states with about 17% or so in 2019, and the PDP gained a majority in the House of Assembly. I don't see Labour in the mix, all of this, but now you get the picture. But from history, it is clear that there are no guarantees, especially with some of what the parties have done, what your party did during the presidential election. Are you having heart palpitations where you are right now at the moment, doing all of the calculations and permutations and wondering how Labour Party could possibly factor in this race with only a few days to the election? Or what is exactly helping you to keep calm? I see how you are reclined in your seat. You seem to be calm. Why are you this calm?
Thank you very much. I am calm because I'm very sure that Labour Party is a party that is party of the people. It is the party of the artisans, it's the party of the market women, it's the party of people of Nigeria, especially in Oyo State here. I would like to give you a background of the Labour Party in Nigeria. The NLC and TUC put their heads together and form Labour Party because of the fact that people have not realized that it is their party, and over 21 years now Labour Party has been in existence. To the glory of God, Nigerians have realized that the only viable option is Labour Party, because we have tried two other parties. We have seen the consequences, and honestly people are yearning for new change and better change for that matter. That's exactly why I am very optimistic that we are going to make it in Oyo State, especially. If you go by the last results in Oyo State, which of course is not true reflection of what the obedient and people of Oyo State actually did. Having said that, we would like to tell Nigerians, that especially people of Oyo State, that we are going to make another statement to confirm in actual fact that President actually won the election, and the next election is a confirmation of that fact. We have people with us.
I just wanted to chip it in there that your comments on the results, like you've mentioned twice or so there, are strictly opinions. They are your opinions. These some of the issues and some of the facts will be tested in court. That's where we're headed to. So I would like for us to just stick to the issues and talk about your own plan, especially your own plan for the people of Oyo, and why you're not having heart palpitations.
Background, I was a local government chieftain, as in elected in the local government 17 years ago. So I have local government experience. Having observed that current government is not taking cognizance into very important roles of a local government, which is the closest government, to the people. Apart from that, I have my stints at the states, having worked as senior special assistant with a former governor, and also I was also a former SA to Secretary to the Government of Federation. Recently, I resigned as senior public servant in the presidency. Combined with all this background, I have this agenda that I know is very easy for me to implement. I call it simple agenda. S stands for security of lives and property. That is the essence of governance, to secure the lives and and the properties of the people, and the second one is the welfare of the people. We tend to run show that we're going to approach it in a preventive way, and we are going to use defensive method in twofold: digital and analog. For digital, we're going to employ the use of technology by having drones to secure our states, and also the use of CCTV in our major areas. And also, we are going to involve the landlords association. I'm going to send a bill into the House that we include the landlord association in security networking of the state. We are also intend to involve the traditional rulers, and they are going to play a very vital role more than ever before, because we are going to set aside an incentive that will really put them on their toes to ensure security of lives and property in their domains. Not only that, the corporate organizations will be involved. They need to discharge their corporate responsibilities through the state, as having set aside, security trust fund that we be a post that we're going to engage ourselves in. That is for security. The second one, which is it is infrastructure and robust economy. Once we give powers to the local government authorities, they are in charge of markets, they are in charge of the motor parks, as well as public toilets, and we ensure that trunk C roads are not left behind. This will definitely help and boost the economy.
And I hear you loud and clear. Sorry, I know I stopped you there in your track, but you've referenced the experience, and for a job like this that you're applying for, experience goes a long way. You've talked about your simple plan. I actually thought it was an acronym. When you said S stands for security, I was waiting for what IMPLE all stand for. But I didn't get that. It just went suddenly to W, welfare. So that's not the spelling of simple, but I get what you mean. And I hear you clearly. But then you referenced the economy, and that spiked my interest. So let's talk Oyo and the prospects of economic development. The PDP would argue that Governor Makinde has been phenomenal in pulling the state ahead in the wake of COVID-19. If you dispute that, then tell me what you would have done in his place. Not only to sustain the state financially, but to make Oyo a true pace setter economically back then, and what you would do now.
Very much. I would like to concentrate on what I'm going to do now, because it is important that I don't dwell in the past. We ensure that I observe two things. The Ibadan and the environment, they are into trading, buying and selling. This is the major thing we occupied ourselves in. And for the Okeogun, this is a Nigerian community, and they are into agriculture. As for the Ibadan axis, which is particular about trading, and I observe something that is going on in the state. The availability of funds to engage in their businesses. The Labour Party government, by the grace of God, come May 29th, 2023, we give what we call revolving loan, and this will go around all the strata of trade union, artisans, as well as those who have what it takes, to engage in businesses or one thing or the other, especially small and medium enterprises. We are going to ensure that funds are available at no interest rate, and we get across to all and sundry. This is very important because it has eluded our marketers for so long a time, and that's exactly where we are having exorbitant, prices of goods and services in our state. We're going to ensure that we will, give you a particular amount, for instance, like 100,000, you return it in 3 months, and you get another one, which is 200,000, return it in 6 months, you get it 500,000, return it in 6 months, and that's exactly what we are going to do until 1 million, and you must ensure that you return as at when due. As for the agriculture in the Okeogun area, I observed that our farm settlements have not been really engaged in actual activity of a real farm settlement. We're going to ensure that we move our Ministry of Agriculture to the farmlands, and we engage a robust engagement with the farmers, and we give them equipment, that will enhance the productivity of their, activity on farm.
Okay, so I'm glad you mentioned a couple of issues here. I'm particularly happy to hear you mention, targeting artisanal trades and traditional marketplaces. I mean, and some other, maybe not so novel ideas, but things you would want to consolidate on in building a robust economy, local economy, macro economy, and then, the generally improving the lives of your citizens or residents in your state if you were to become governor. We have heard things like this plenty of times from politicians contesting for positions. But the good thing, and I have stayed in Ibadan on and off for some years, that was way back in the past, and I know that Oyo State is arguably one of the places where you have politically sophisticated and informed electorate. I am sure that they are reviewing some of these policies that you're mentioning on TV, whether they are on paper or they're just hearing you. But I need you to tell me something. Of all of these big plans that you have, which ones come with the quickest low-hanging fruits, and in what sector or sectors?
What sector? Thank you very much. I have taken pain to really understudy happenings in Oyo State. Coupled with the fact that I am a product of local governments, I understand my people because I'm very close to them in the grassroots. Lest I forget, I need to say something. I appreciated the fact that the need for us to take our salary on time. But I observe also that some of them takes home, they take home like meager amount, 10,000, 20,000 at the end of the day, because they have used their salary accounts to mortgage, to obtain loan for their children. So the government of Labour Party, by the grace of God, is going to give the civil servant and government workers what we call education allowance, which will help them to, foot the bill in terms of education of their children, and they will be able to use the salary for some other good things. Like you rightly said, is that which one will come first or which one that I focus? I think more than myself, all I have said, because of the fact that I am somebody, an insider, outsider. I will not come here and say things that I'm not going to do, because I know exactly how it happens inside the house. As a person, I understand very well what you call GO, British General Order, the Bible and Quran of civil service. I understand the policy of financial regulations. I understand it perfectly. So that's exactly position me to come out and say things that I know exactly I am going to do.
Sorry, but that's not what I alluded to. No, that's not what I alluded to at all. My question was for you to tell me, of all of the big plans that you have for the people of Oyo State, which of them comes with, low-hanging fruits, and in which sector are we likely to see that some of these low-hanging fruits, and for you to also give us a timeline as to when these benefits can, or people of Oyo State can begin to see these benefits. That's actually my question.
If I hear you properly, the last part of it is that I can assure you that they will start getting, the result of what I'm just telling you by within 6 months. Because every government of 4 years is just 2 years administration. The third year is for campaigning, and the fourth year is for election. So I will ensure that the framework of the work I'm going to do is within the first 6 months. That is exact time I'm going to showcase my experience and showcase my ability to the state forward. So I do not see anyone which is going to be low or higher. I will do them pari passu, and they are going to.
So I hear the timeline of 6 months. Seeing some of the changes already in 6 months, I don't hear the benefits or which sector they will come from. But I'll leave that for now. And I would like to ask you something which I know you can't pretend about, and it's about the present. The presence and of presence and incumbency factor, whether it's there. You and I know that there's always a factor, the incumbency always factors during election. Also, there's the seeming popularity of the sitting governor, Governor Seyi Makinde, there in Oyo State, even amongst the youth population that constitutes the bulk of your party's obedient movement that you mentioned earlier when we started our conversation. What are some of the feelers that you're getting on the ground from that strategic strata of young Nigerians? And are you not concerned that rather than toe the party line, the obedient movement, that this same youth population in Oyo could very easily lean towards Governor Makinde? What do you have up your sleeve to swing the youth vote in your favor?
Much I rely solely on God. That's the first thing, because God is the one who crowns people he likes. And secondly, I have this to say to you that I have been in politics for so long a time, and I understand the fact that it is decision of people to pick whoever they like based on the programs. And my programs, I tell you, I can easily tell you that is fantastic because of the robust outcome to the people of Oyo State. As in, when you explain and you could be able to tell them how you are going to implement it. I have this to say you also that PDP is depleted. I can tell you this. And every day Labour Party is rising, and we have a party rising every day, like I said. So put together all this, the youths of Oyo State are with a Labour Party, and I can assure you, I can tell you that we have the bulk of the voters with Labour Party in Oyo State, and we relied on the fact that not only that, people are suffering in terms of security because someone constituted himself as a terror in the state. We are going to stop that. Okay. We are going to ensure that...
I hear you. I hear you, sir. And of course, you don't have to assure me. This is an exam. The result will come out March 18, and we'll all be there to judge for ourselves. But I am wondering that going into this election, you talked about some parties being in disarray or being not together, but your party is almost in the same shoe, in the same boat as these other parties that you've mentioned. I'm wondering if your party has been able to come together and pull ranks owing to some of the issues that played out during the primaries and even in the days leading to the presidential election, with news of your party endorsing the candidate of another party. Has the Labour Party been able to show a united front going into this election?
Very much. I want to correct that impression. Our party, Labour Party, has not endorsed any candidate. It was just the chairman of the party and 7 people that decided to, get involved in party activity, anti-party activity.
Is your party united?
That,
so is your party united? Is your party united? Is that what you're saying?
Hello?
That you have a common front going into this election?
Exactly what I'm trying to tell you, that just the chairman and a number of people, 6 people just like that, we are united in the sense that all the chairmen of local governments, are with us, and a number of executives are with us. The obedient are with us, and also support groups are with us. So this is exactly what I say. And the people of the Oyo State
we'll see how that goes.
are
But very quickly, there's a segment that we call ticking the boxes. I have a feeling you watched what we did earlier with our guest, the governorship, APC governorship candidate from Benue State. I would like to do a repeat of that with you and see how you fare in ticking the boxes. There are a couple of items I will just query, ask the director to put on the screen there. 4 items, 4 national targets that we'll just put on the screen there, and I'd like for you to choose whichever option, meets your viewpoint or your, if we can just have that quickly on the box. On the screen, fantastic. There we go. I hope you're seeing that. Item number 1 on the screen there says 15% implementation of statewide infrastructural needs. Is this a target that you think you can realize in your state in 4 years? I mean, is it realistic for you? Is it unrealistic? Are you undecided on this?
Tick.
What did you tick? Did you tick realistic there? Did you tick realistic for the first one?
Exactly.
Yes, that's realistic. So I'll go to item. Very well, thank you. I'll move to item number 2. It says 100% food sufficiency. Do you think this is a target you can achieve in 4 years? As well, or you think it's unrealistic as a matter of fact, or maybe you may not want to, you may choose not to talk about that now until perhaps you take over the leadership of your state?
Food sufficiency, of course, realistic. Because
you say they're realistic, fantastic. So we'll go with realistic there. Let's quickly go to item number 3. It says 50% internally generated boost. Can you achieve that in 4 years? Raise the IGR of Oyo State by 50% within 4 years?
Sure, because we're going to, leakages, we're going to block it. Thank you.
Realistic. So finally, let's go to the issue of ending water scarcity in Oyo State. Is that also a target you think is realistic within 4 years? Is it unrealistic? Are you undecided on the matter?
Until I review what is on ground, I can say something about that.
Ed. So fantastic. We'll go with undecided there for our guest. I'd like to thank you so much for coming on the program. I do realize and understand you got invited with quite a short notice. I'm glad you accepted. This has been an interesting and quite an insightful conversation that we've had with you. Governorship candidate of the Labour Party in Oyo State, Tayo Akinwale. Well, we wish you the very best in your aspiration. We hope to see what transpires and plays out in Oyo State come Saturday, March 18. Thank you so much for coming on the program.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure. Thank you very much. God bless you.
Well, we are officially restarting our countdown to the governorship and State House of Assembly elections. So for now, it is 7 days to go in our fresh countdown. And I hope you join us daily, on the ballot as we gradually approach the D-Day. But for now, I mean, we would just take some days, take the weekend to get some respite. And we'll see you again on Monday next week, usual time, 10:05 p.m., God willing. My name is Nnamdi Odipo. Ciao, bye for now.
NTA Parliament is a dedicated 24